him, because that's a side of him maybe some people were not aware of. Then, of course, we have tributes in song and tributes in poetry. We're going to begin this morning's tributes with some readings from our elder, Brother Ikino Moyo. Elder Moyo has been not just our elder in the Emancipation Support Committee. Elder Moyo received that title when he was a youth, when he was very, very young, and he was in the in the National Joint Action Committee together with Ifoma. And he was given that title because of the deep respect and love and regard that everyone who encountered him felt about him. And for all those years spent both in NJAC and then his years with us in the Emancipation Support Committee, Elder Moyo has only, what shall I say, given us that strength because of his work and his life and the principles that guide his life. He continues to be that elder for us. So we open this morning's gathering with some words from Elder Moyo. So I give you Elder Ikino Moyo. Yes, Elder Moyo, you may unmute your mic.
What is this?
Yes, we are hearing you, Elder Moyo. Now you've taken off your camera and your mic is unmuted, so you can proceed.
There's a massive something in front here.
We are not seeing anything but you. Go ahead, Brother Elder. We are seeing you. We're seeing you and we're hearing you.
Okay. Mokien Babawa, Mokien Iawa, Mokien Ekbowa, Mokien Omowa, Ekabo, peace be unto all. Welcome all to the virtual tribute of our beloved brother, Ifoma Soyinka. At the burial service celebrating the life of our dear brother, we were constrained by time to treat fully with the cultural practice of the transition of the Joto and the Ye of our brother Ifoma Soyinka. Today, we take the opportunity to add to the transition by offering readings from the Hosea, the sacred wisdom of ancient Egypt. Be reminded that our people of Dahomey in West Africa believe that the human soul has many forms or dimensions. These dimensions are the Joto, the soul handed down from the ancestors of whom everything or every living being is a representative. The same, that part which is of the creator, the salido, that which is life, feelings, or personality. The Kepol, that which is the destiny. The Ye, They manifested by the shadow, the indestructible part of the individual. At the time of the burial, this part becomes invisible and leaves the body. This tribute to Ifoma Soyinka's life is conducted to allow the many to keep calling his name and to reflect on great memory, and at the same time to continue to pray for the dimensions of the soul of the departed to be at peace. It is in this context I offered 3 readings from the Hosea, the sacred wisdom of ancient Egypt. The first is from the book of the coming forth by day, the 4th verse. The second is from the book of vindication, the 3rd verse. And the third is from the book of rising and transformation, the 2nd verse. The first, the book of coming forth by day, the 4th verse. Behold, I am in your presence, O Lord of heaven. There is no evil in my body. I have not knowingly spoken that which is not true, nor have I done anything with a false heart. Grant that I may be like those favored ones who are in your following, and that I may be an Osiris, one vindicated and risen, and greatly favored by the beneficent God. That's the first reading. The second reading, the book of vindication, the 3rd verse. The seeker of vindication says, hail you, judgment council of God, who shall judge me on this day concerning what I have said and done, being ignorant, remiss, and unmindful. Or you who surround me and stand by my back, may I be vindicated in the presence of the Lord of heaven. It shall judge me according to what I am knowingly done. I have stood up with my feather of truth in my head and my righteousness on my brow. My enemies are greatly grieved, and in my vindication, I have gained possession of all I owe. End of the second reading. The third reading from the book of Rising and Transformation, the 2nd verse. Rise up, O vindicated one. Take hold of your head. Gather together your bones. Collect your limbs. Shake the dust from your flesh. Take your bread, which knows no moldiness, and your beer, which never becomes sour. Stand at the gate, that bar those with no name. Lo, the gatekeeper comes to you. takes your hand and take you to heaven to your Father. He rejoices at your coming, gives you his hand, kisses you, comforts you, and sets you before the spirits, the imperishable stars. Go and continue your duties in the realms of our ancestors, my brother. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother and Elder Ikino Moyo. Brother Moyo has called on our ancestors to accept our brother Ifoma into the realm of the ancestors and to treat him with all the love and dignity that we know he deserves because of the love, of course, and the dignity that he brought to all of us while he was here. So we thank Brother Elder Moyo for those readings, and we move quickly into a song of tribute. And it's interesting that the moment that Sheldon Blackman heard of Brother Ifoma's passing, and Sheldon, by the way, of course, is the son of Rashorty I, so he's a youngster to Brother Ifoma. But so it was that Ifoma connected with the young people in the movement, that as soon as this young man heard of Brother Ifoma's passing, he immediately mounted this song on his Facebook page in tribute to Ifoma. So we're going to have the pleasure of hearing our brother Sheldon Blackman singing Another Hero Is Gone. Over to you.
Another hero is gone. On. Another hero is gone. On. Another great loss to mourn. Another hero is gone. Another great loss to mourn. But in our memories you live on. We give thanks for the day you was born. Yet we must face it, the death that will come. But the life of a righteous person will always be remembered. The life of a righteous person will always be treasured. I'm saying it again, I love you. We are saying it again, we will miss you. I'm on and on. I'm on and Another hero is gone. Another great loss to mourn. Another hero is gone. Another great loss to mourn. Your life is an incentive to live, with purpose always willing to give. With fists raised to the sky, we said to you bye-bye. For the life of a righteous person will always be remembered. The life of a righteous person will always be treasured. I'm saying it again, I love you. We are saying it again, we will miss you. A morning, a morning, another hero is gone. Oh, another great loss to mourn. Another hero is gone. Oh, another great loss to mourn. Another hero is gone. Another great loss to mourn. But in our memories you live on.
We thank Sheldon for that offering, and we thank the team in the Emancipation Support Committee who put together the photographs, and we thank all of you who sent photographs to share, because you know that finding photographs of our brother is not easy. Those of you who knew him. We now move to tributes from family members and friends, and I'm seeing that more and more of our colleagues are joining us and are on, and we're very, very pleased to have them with us. So I'm going to introduce and ask people just to come one right after the other. So we have Neville, the brother of Ifoma, Elder Neville Warner. He will be followed by Ifoma's first son, Jerome, who will be followed by Ayana Solomon, Ifoma's recent partner, and Elizabeth Bramble. I hope Elizabeth has managed to get on. Elizabeth is his caretaker, has been the caretaker of his son Ikechi. And so these are some of the people who will now bring tributes. So we're having tributes from family members and friends. So please just come one after the other so that I don't have to introduce you a second time. We begin with Elder Neville Warner. Brother Neville, are you with us? No, Neville.
I'm with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
There. Okay, good. And others Jerome will follow immediately.
Yeah. I'll be very short. My brother was, in terms of siblings, we were always together, basically in growing up, from being with our grandmother and living most of our growing up years with our aunts in Missouri. Most of the attributes that my brother would be getting would have learned from living with our aunt, who was always a person who gives selflessly, never looking back for something in return. I mean, whilst he was very strict and ensure that we know what are the rules and how we supposed to respect from elders and stuff like that. And my brother, she was very open in terms of allowing us some space in terms of making decisions, because to her, it is important that we be leaders and not followers, and that we be thinkers and not just people who repeat. So my brother from very early would have been involved with activities, communal activities, political activities and stuff like that. And those would have been coming out as traditions of both our aunt and our uncle, who was a P.T. James supporter. So those are things that my brother would have learned. My brother also, I remember when I started to work in the ministry, I remember taking time off from work because he always had this idea of getting himself involved with business. And in fact, there was a project that the family had, which and it was because of, I know part of the problem of the project is that my brother is one of those who believe that people of African descent can do business and can make contribute. It's just that some of us do not have the confidence in our own selves to do the correct thing. But my brother was always that kind of individual. And to me, it was very dear to me. I mean, there are a lot of things that he would have given away to me, and not what might be correctly his own that he would have thing. And my brother, as I say, we are very close in terms of my own siblings. Yeah. I'll miss him.
Thank you very, very much, Neville. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing Ifoma with us. Thank you for giving us a deeper understanding of sometimes, you know, you need to hear those words of how he grew and how he was nurtured to understand the beauty and strength of the person that you see before you. I move quickly now to Jerome. Thank you. Thank you, Neville.
I just want to say thanks to the whole committee, really, and thank you, Asha, for reaching out to me, really. I have to say that song by Sheldon Blackman is quite touching and actually made me break down. So please, Tom, thank you for that. Thank you for putting it together. I've known Ifoma since I was about 12 years old, and basically, Ifoma was the only father figure I've had throughout the whole childhood, really. And he instilled certain things in me, you know, that kind of self-belief, as Nev was talking about, that self-discipline, progression, constant learning, the ability to get up, get out of bed, go to work, whether you're sick or not, that kind of drive to aspire to become more, really. And I remember speaking to him at the end of last year, and he turned to me and said, you know, Jerome, throughout your whole life, you know, I've always wanted a son, and he does have a KG, you know, but as somebody that I have adopted as a son, you've actually done me quite proud. And him saying that meant the world to me, really, because I've never realized how much people like Ifoma, yourself, Ash, and Kafra have done for young Black people in the country, because we actually have somebody to look up to and aspire to. So I just want to say thank you to my dad and to you guys for being there for everybody, really. Last night I managed to put pen to paper, and basically it's how I feel. So basically came up with, who is this man? Who is this man, 12-year-old thinks? Why are you here? We are fine. Who is this man, a 16-year-old thinks? Quiet, smart, always well-dressed, smells nice. Gentle, never raises a voice, goes out of his way for others. But who is this man, a man finally thinks? Ifoma, master, educated, cheerful. A name that suits, a name chosen to live and lead by example. First, a husband, of whom I could ask no better for my mom. Second, a father for me and my brother. Papa to his grandkids, a friend to chat. First in politics, sports, or any current topic one heart's desire. A man with broad shoulders that propelled me to who I am today. Disciplined, dedicated, hard work, true to your word, making your word your bond. Everything I observed and learned, besides keeping timings, came from Ifoma. In the words of his namesake, how pleasant to have toyed with concepts. Time I touched upon, time I hold, my hands, my feet, my heart slow to the cup of death. It weighs all and nothing. Cease with rain and round between the fingers. It's a crystal come of the world by Soyinka. Thanks, guys.
Thanks very, very much. We know how difficult this was for you, but we thank you very, very much for that sharing. I move now to Ayana Solomon. Ayana, are you still with us? Yes.
Good morning to everyone. I'm sorry, I'm having some detachment from his physical skills. So first of all, it's a great pleasure to meet his emancipation family. I would have heard so much and how dedicated, committed he was to everyone that's a part of the Emancipation Committee. That was really his second family. He was always so proud, talking about, events and how much, he really, invested and was so happy to be a part of that. The Emancipation family is, he always referred to not so much a committee. So it's really nice to put some faces to the names that I would have heard over the years from him. I won't be able to say too much. But Ifoma was such a caring person, and he always put, the feelings of others before himself. And I would share this, that the night before he passed, I would have dreamt him, and he asked to prepare a celebration in his honor, and he would like everything to be white. I would have shared this dream with a few persons because it was so vivid that he came, he came to say goodbye, and that is him, his selflessness, because I believe he knew how hard it would have been for a lot of persons, but I was in the fight with him day in and day out. Getting the updates and so on was very, very difficult. I just want to say I'm so grateful and thankful for the time that I did have with him. We had a friendship for 5 years and were more involved for only 2 years, but I learned that compassion and selflessness and generosity and care still exists, when I met him, because he's never expected anything in return when he gave so much. I just want to say it's a real pleasure to meet everyone, and that's as much as I can do right now.
Thank you very much, Ayana. Thank you. We deeply appreciate you sharing with us. And we all our loss together, all that loss that we share, all the love that we share, that will give us strength, hopefully, to keep Ifoma's memory alive and his work alive, because that is the two things that come together. I'll move quickly on to Elizabeth. I hope Elizabeth has been able to join us. Is Elizabeth there?
Yes, she is.
You're muted, Ashwin.
Okay. I'm sorry, colleagues. I'm just saying that since I understand that Elizabeth is having technical problems, so until she gets her technical problems sorted out, we will bring her in as soon as that happens. In the meantime, we will move into the tribute in song from Brother Valentino. And then if we get Elizabeth's technical problems sorted out, we bring her in. Okay? So I give you Brother Valentino. Of course, everybody knows Valentino from the 1970s.
Remember Basil Davison, Guy Haywood, Brother Valentine, Beverly Jones, Brian Jefferson, the others whose lives went down on the line. I wonder if these people gave their lives for a hopeless cause. Before their deaths, all those responsible people, the verdict is yours. But Trini have a funny way of forgetting. Their history to them like don't mean nothing. The history that went down here in the 1970s, as though it never was today in this century. But don't care how they try to tarnish these historic memories, I will always remember the roaring 70s. Tell them to write down this one here in the pages of history. 21st of April in the year of our Lord, 1970. Remember when black people was denied the privilege to work in them banks? You forgot who gave you this advantage, but to end Jack you should say thanks. Remember when white faces used to hold the top position? So let us all give thanks and praises to the 70th revolution. But you know this funny way of forgetting. Their history to them like it don't mean nothing. The history that went down here in the 1970s, as though it never was today in this century. I don't care how they try to tarnish these historic memories, I will always remember the roaring 70s. Tell them to write down this one here in the pages of history. 21st of April in the year of our Lord, 1970. A lot of men live fast and died very young in this most historic decade. when Randy B used to come to town with his flying squad and parade. The emphasis was on education, and when the young folks got too bright, the same institution turned around and out their light. Trini have a very funny way of forgetting their history to them like it to be nothing. The history that went down here in the 1970s, as though it never was today in this century. But don't care how they try to tarnish these historic memories, I will always remember the roaring 70s. Tell them to write down this one here in the pages of history. 21st of April, the year of our Lord, 1970. Looking back on that era, I see changes that took place politically. Who left this party to form that party, and who embezzled the oil money? Some conscious black men and women, the system made them crumble and bend. And now the nation gone right back to Europe on a western trend. Trini have a very funny way of forgetting their history to them like it to be nothing. The history that went down here in the 1970s, as though it never was today in this century. But don't care how they try to tarnish these historic memories, I will always remember the roaring 70s. Tell them to write down this one here in the pages of history. 21st of April, the year of our Lord, 1970.
We give thanks to our brother Valentino, and we bless his life and wish him continued strength. You know, we have to, when we see someone in their greatness, in their humbleness, in their beauty, such as we've seen because we've lived with him, Brother Ifoma, we kind of have to understand what made him who he was. And it was wonderful to have his son Jerome ask those questions about him. And then it's wonderful for us to be able to hear Valentino give us a very interesting interpretation of what helped him be who he was, that period that he came of age, as I mentioned earlier, where young men and women did not dream to sleep to dream, but dreamed to change the world. And some of them committed their life to do just that. It's now my pleasure to introduce our beloved brother, Kafra Kambon, who is our Director of Regional and Pan-African Affairs now, who has retired as chair of the Emancipation Support Committee, who has passed on those duties to our beloved Sister Zakia Wadada. He's going to pay tribute now to our brother Ifoma Ajuma Soyinka. Brother Kafra, over to you.
Brothers and sisters, all, I am very pleased to be able to pay this tribute to Brother Ifoma. Ifoma Soyinka can aptly be described as a quiet revolutionary. He had a zest for life, yet he risked life for what he believed in. I say this because functioning in the National Joint Action Committee, the organization that led the Black Power Revolution in the 1970s, a choice which Ifoma consciously made, often exposed you to risk. either of imprisonment or death. But the young Ifoma Soyinka followed his passion for justice, recognizing how unjust and unequal our society was. He was motivated by his love for people, concern for the downtrodden, his embrace of his Africanness, and he was determined to play his part in bringing about the change that was needed in our society. He first saw that change embodied in the Black Power movement. He later became a founding member of our organization, our current organization, the Emancipation Support Committee of Trinidad and Tobago, which was jointly established by a number of African organizations which came together in 1992. By then, our brother Ifoma was a practicing lawyer. Many of the younger people around the ESCTT, including those with an interest in business, benefited from his advice over time. He also advised the Orisha community on issues of registration, among other things. Ifoma achieved material comfort from his profession of law and his entrepreneur. He was an entrepreneur, but he shared it. Just as he shared his time, talent, and energy with the organization to which he was passionately committed, the Emancipation Support Committee of Trinidad and Tobago. Fortunately for him, he married a woman who managed to cope with the demands his commitment made on his time and resources. As committed as he was, I can't remember us ever getting Ifoma to speak on a platform. He so methodically stayed out of the limelight. We had to have a team plowing through decades, pictures of events to find the few that I exhibited here that included his image. But his work in the background was considerable and invaluable. As a member of the Emancipation Support Committee Executive, he contributed to determining the direction of the organization. He was a keen observer and analyst who engaged with people at all levels of the society, professionally and socially. He therefore brought insights gained from broad social experiences and professional training to discussions which shaped policy and strategy. He was an important part of our collective leadership that discussed and processed the feedback from member organizations throughout the country. This contributed to the building of the major national organization which the Emancipation Support Committee became. Within our organization's operational structure, Brother Ifoma's major responsibilities were in the areas of marketing, public relations, and finance. The public relations part may sound strange to those who know him. He kept himself so much in the background that we had difficulties finding pictures for him for this occasion, but he did a good job managing our public relations from the background, of course. He also helped to expand our marketing outreach overseas, utilizing the services of a Trinidadian professional living in the USA. One of the other significant achievements in this regard was his role in our successful effort to get the US-based organization called TPOC, Travel Professionals of Color, to bring a tour to experience the Emancipation commemoration. I must say too that we got the cooperation of the Trinidad and Tobago Ministry of Tourism in achieving this. Our Emancipation Support Committee executive drew on his legal expertise too. And this became increasingly important over the last few years as legal regulations for non-governmental organizations became progressively more onerous. We needed to draw, and a lot of this directed from overseas, mind you. We needed to draw more on his advice to meet the new requirement. He was also one of our legal counsel on legal matters related to undocumented migrants. You know, that's part of our fight, those persons who come in here undocumented. We had to fight legally for just treatment for those coming from the African continent and in particular, and even for persons from Jamaica and Guyana, right here in the CARICOM region. Seeking justice in this area became an important aspect of the organization's activity. We are thankful that in this area, we received his valuable assistance and that of a number of other very prominent local attorneys. When Ifoma was confronted with deep personal pain, even when you could see the stress and grief on his face, as you could see when his wife, Angela, was enduring medical challenges, he tried his best to treat with the challenges on his own. He did all he could to ensure that Angela would enjoy her final period of life, which was spent in and out of hospital. He had the satisfaction of seeing her enjoy one more emancipation event at the Lid Yasu Omowale Emancipation Village, not long before her transition. Through it all, he kept a sense of purpose. And even without Angela, thanks to the way they had both treated household assistants as family members, Ifoma was able to extend hospitality to foreign guests on our behalf. You will hear some of their voices on this program. When the death-dealing virus struck our brother, as much communication as we could with him, we maintained until it was no longer possible. After he settled into the Cuba hospital, he found the energy to communicate with us and his girlfriend, Ayana, regularly via WhatsApp. Then there was a gap of silence while he was in the intensive care unit. When he was transferred from the ICU, his last typed words to us came not long, just a few days before he breathed his last breath. Psychologically, we prepared ourselves for the worst. Today, he is more than a memory, but I close with the sentiments of a Martin Carter poem. And in the interest of time, I'll just read you 3 or 4 lines. Carter's poem, Death of a Comrade. Death must not meet us thinking that we die. Too soon, our banner draped for you. I would prefer the banner in the wind, not bound so tightly in a scarlet fold, not sudden with your people's tears, but flashing on the pole we bear aloft, down and beyond this dark lane of rags. And I skip. Now from the morning vanguard moving on, dear comrade, I salute you. And I say it on all of us behalf, death will not find us thinking that we die. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Kafra. On behalf of the Emancipation Support Committee and on behalf of all of us here present and participating in this event, We thank you for those words in regard of our dear beloved brother. I'm going to turn you over immediately to our sister, Pearl Into Springer, who is our poet. She might be poets acclaimed everywhere else in the world, but we've not let her go. She's still our poet. And therefore, when occasions like these arise, there is a voice we must hear. And so we have called on her to give us that source of inspiration and love that we need. Sister Into.
Black power, urging we like bookman to give allegiance to a God of possessed of one cheek that will not turn, that will not turn. And Simone told us we were young, gifted, and black, and we went eagerly back to Butler, Garvey. Thirstily we drank the words of Malcolm X, Cambon, Dagger, Rodney. How proud we were of Stokely, child of the very hills, and even now, unrecognized still. And we know no fear. We marched everywhere, raising Ogun's red, marching even to bury our dead. They came for us, their disillusioned young. We fought their guns with sticks and stones, and yes, we made some of our own in the marching time, in the revolution time when fists mocked the sky and we cried enough of scrambling for pennies in the dust. Moving forward, moving, morphing from marching time to procession time, emancipation's camboulet, pulsing, pounding drums, bright raiments, ancestral praises, pride in being first in all the world to hold that freedom flag high. Ifoma, our brother, always at our side. Go now to meet other comrades gone before. The tainted flesh flees, his spirit soars. The unending circle, ancestor to unborn, widens, making space for him to take his place, while still we feel his smiles. Aye, Ifoma, the work is not yet done. We labor, we pass on, but more come, More come, more will come. Others there will be to carry on, to take our place. Rest well, rest well. Love you.
Thank you very much, Sister Into. What else can I say? I can say no more. We're now going to hear some tributes from friends, and that's a good thing. There are a group of friends, Felix Celestin, Cheryl Charles, and Trevor Hostin. And I invite them now to present their tributes in that order, and then we will move on. Thank you very much. Felix? Yes. Yes, Felix, the floor is yours.
Sure. I wish to thank the Emancipation Support Committee for the opportunity to say a few words in celebration of our brother Ifoma Soyinka from another mother. I begin with a quote from his namesake, Wole Soyinka, first African Nobel laureate. I quote, "You cannot live a normal existence if you haven't taken care of a problem that affects your life and affects the lives of others. Values that you hold which in fact define your very existence. End of quote. Ifoma was a conscious and committed brother to the cause of the humanity of African people. The foundation of that consciousness was rooted in his upbringing in Tobago and given vent through his involvement with the National Joint Action Committee and thereafter the Emancipation Support Committee. Ifoma was loyal and dedicated to the upliftment of African people with a passion. He practiced what he preached. He lived his life to the ideals, values, and tenets of his African consciousness. Honesty, loyalty, and integrity were dear to him. Ifoma never allowed obstacles in his path to determine or deter him from pursuing his goals. In fact, it made him more determined and unwavering to the challenges he faced. I recall his venture into importing salt from Cuba for use in the oil industry by Petrotrin. Little did he realize that after winning several bids, before hitherto there was no competition in that area, the powerful elites conspired with officials in Petrotrin to change the rules, thereby rendering importation from Cuba uneconomical. Quite apart from that, the said elite sought assistance from the US Embassy and the banks to run him out of business. I raised this matter because I was deeply offended by the way a young aspiring Black entrepreneur was treated, not by the off-field antics, but the actions of Petrotrin. I also recall the pain and anguish he endured when he had to make a decision to terminate the services of one of his employees. And only after he had no choice, absolutely no choice, born out of the fact that she was a single mother, he had to act. He was also most knowledgeable about, among other things, politics, a consummate politician in theory, never venturing to get involved. He would also never miss out on a good wild meat line and enjoyed immensely the cooking of Trevor. He was never a frontliner, always remaining in the background, observing everything and missing nothing. And with calmness, even in the most difficult of circumstances, would bring his quiet brilliance, which he shared generously and freely, to resolve whatever issue was at hand. He controlled the narrative from the back. Ifoma lived a full life, traversing from the responsibilities of family, which he discharged with love and devotion, to his business exploits, to his law practice, and his unwavering commitment to the humanity of African people. He did all of this while still having time for his friends to enjoy life. He touched the lives of so many, a brother who was a pillar of strength to so many, evidenced by the huge outpouring of love to his family and friends from all over, evidenced by the large number of persons who followed his funeral, some of whom never met him, but heard about him. Such was his reach. We must now do in true African tradition, give support as an extended family to his children, Jerome and Ikechi. Ikechi in particular, and his caregiver Elizabeth. In the same way, he was a pillar of strength to so many of us. Before his passing, his last words to me were to continue to be a good soldier. And I will follow his instructions. He has gone from us, but he will never be forgotten. I will miss him My family will miss him, my wife, my extended family as well. We'll all miss him. And he is now in the beloved arms of his ancestors. Bye, my brother.
Thank you very much, Felix. Thank you very much. And I turn over to Cheryl.
Where is that? Greetings to all. I'm actually in New York, and my one regret is that I was not there for my best friend at the end. I'm joined by my husband, Noel, and my son, Alan, who actually is Ifoma's godson. Shannon Alder, an inspirational writer, once wrote, "Carve your name on hearts, not tombstones. Your legacy is etched into the minds of others and the stories they share about you." Today we gather to honor the legacy of our beloved Ifoma and share the stories that make him so special. Several years ago, Ifoma changed his name in solidarity and to honor his hero, Nigerian playwright and activist Akinwande Olawale Batatunde Soyinka, called Ole Soyinka. This was a symbolic show of his pride in his African ancestry and a commitment, like Wole Soyinka, to raise our level of consciousness and maintain our awareness that though the shackles of slavery were removed, our legal, political, and economic system kept us locked in that place. It was Ifoma's mission, through his chosen profession and political and social affiliations, to eradicate inequities of our oppressive history. His philosophy was, if not now, then when? If not you, then who? That strong resolve and dedication to his cause is part of his lasting legacy, which we celebrate today. On a personal note, I have been friends with Ifoma for over 41 years. We met at law school. If I were to define our friendship in one word, it will be laughter. We laughed at everything. Ifoma laughed at himself. He made no apologies. He laughed at himself. We were so attuned to each other that a simple hello on the phone will erupt into laughter. We could have parallel conversations in a room just with some particular keyword or code. No one will know what we're talking about. Our friendship survived my moving to New York and rose to a more subliminal level when in 1997, he became the godfather to my son. Two things I want to share with Ifoma, about Ifoma. His unsurpassed intellect and analytical mind. Example, one year we came to Carnival, picked us up in the airport as usual. That was our thing, pick me up at the airport, take me to the breakfast shed for a fish roll front, whatever. And when we got in the car, my husband was with me, a calypso was playing in his car radio. He looked at my husband in the rear mirror and asked him if he understood the meaning of the calypso. My husband is Jamaican, so. Ifoma then proceeded to give an incisive, impassioned, well-reasoned, and knowledgeable analysis of the psychological and physiological impact of a horn. He ended by saying, the only thing that is worse than a horn is the perception of a horn. There were a few quirks to our friendship. Don't call him at 7 p.m. That's Panorama or News Time. Don't expect calls from him the week prior to Emancipation Day. His second, something else I would like to bring to you, is his birthday. Do not forget Ifoma's birthday. He was big on birthdays, his birthdays. I was bad on birthdays, his birthdays. After each birthday that I forget, he will call and remind me that our dear Sharon Rowley called him as usual to wish him happy birthday. And he made it a point that she never forgets my birthday. Well, this year I forgot his birthday again. And when he called and started to talk about his dear Sharon, I said to myself, I'm going to fight back. I said to him, Ifoma, listen to me. There are 352 days in the year. Sharon remembers you on one day of the year. I remember you on 351 days. So what's your problem? His response was, girl, you're good, yes? You sound like a Republican. Our laughter continued even while he was hospitalized. He texted me early on and stated, girl, I have a joke for you. You would laugh like hell. I text him back, I have a joke for you too, but when I called to give it to you, I heard you were hanging out in the hospital. The next day he texts, so give me the joke. It might help in my recovery. My response, no, get out of there first. As it happened, he never gave me that last joke, and I never gave him that last joke. Probably it's a cliffhanger to be continued when we meet again. But as my mother told me, on Monday, the day of his funeral, my mother is elderly. She has known Ifoma since as long as I have. In fact, she calls us Bim and Bam. And she told me, she said, Cheryl, be thankful for his life. You will never find another friend like Ifoma. Don't expect it and don't look for it. That was a one-shot deal. To my friend, I will miss you. I will miss the calls. I will miss the WhatsApp. I'll miss the jokes. I'll miss the trips from the airport, the visits to my family in Superior, the pictures that we exchange. I would miss it. I would miss you. And although I never came out and said it openly to you, Ifoma, I love you dearly, and I would miss you with all my heart. God bless. Goodbye.
Thank you very much, Cheryl, for both sharing those stories and for your heartfelt good wishes to our dear beloved brother. I pass you on to Trevor now. Trevor Hostin, is Trevor with us? Yes, Trevor. Please unmute your mic and proceed. Right.
Great. Thank you. Greetings, and congratulations to the committee for honoring our dear friends. Today, I am happy to join in celebrating the life of my genuine friend of over 20 years. Ifoma Soyinka can best be described as an outstanding gentleman with his supple silence of eloquence, never rushing for the limelight. During our friendship, I have always admired his dedicated attendance to his ailing and beloved wife, Angela, his sons, KG and Jerome. During our friendship again, which consisted of a plethora of phone calls almost on a daily basis, I've never heard Ifoma Soyinka use one expletive. You know, men will talk and, 20 years, never one. He was always reserved, and I've never seen him angry. as he was forever the characterization of grace under pressure. Matter of fact, as Cheryl so profoundly said, he loved to laugh heartily, and based on the intensity of the jokes, he couldn't catch himself sometimes, and sometimes he couldn't even speak, and had to cough in order to catch himself, still laughing hilariously. Ifoma was always a practical person, often espousing his well-used phrase of keep it real. So while I do think that 73 is a very young age to pass, Ifoma would always be preparing for the inevitable, often saying, I'm already in the departure lounge, much to my disagreement, of course. However, should he have made it out, he would not have liked to live with the required care necessary for his physical survival due to the damages that COVID inflicted upon his lungs. And most certainly, he would have willingly accepted the inevitable as confirmed by his late texts to his loved ones, friends, and so on. I myself got a text which shocked me because Ifoma was never the kind of person to express sentiments. And what made me face up to the inevitable was his text that said, I love you, thanks for the memories. He was a good man, constructive, ambitious, entrepreneurial, and caring, generous, and understanding. And I am confident that indeed, he is now in a much better place of eternal rest. So, as we inevitably mourn his passing, let's not shed any tear, let's not lament or feel sorry for him, but instead, let's joyfully celebrate his good life on earth and the inspiring legacy he left us all. And while we mourn his passing, let us, at this moment, think of those we love and care for and show our appreciation for them while they are alive. Ifoma, my good man, you have been my best friend, my regular dinner guest. He loved my food. He loved the laughter. He loved the conversations. He made fun of me. We had such a good time. And like all good things must come to an end. And may your wonderful soul rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Trevor. And it's wonderful to hear the words of Ifoma's good friends sharing their experiences and their stories and giving us something to smile about in this very, very challenging moment. So we thank you for that. It was just one thing I'd like to say, you know, someone said that he stayed out of politics. Well, of course, we in the Emancipation Support Committee would say there are two kinds of politics in this world. There's the conventional one, which most people think that's what all politics is. And then the unconventional one, which is about expanding the knowledge of our people, empowering them so that they can shape their destiny. And imagine Ifoma committed himself to that level of politics. So yes, political he was. Okay, I now turn you over. We're going to have a tribute in pan and song before we move to our next set of tributes that come once again from colleagues from the legal fraternity. But before I turn you over to them, I'm going to turn you over to our tribute in pan and song from Dale Gulston and Adrian Filbert. A tribute in pan.
Oh, climate, yes, take your time to the merchants, minutes of the time, from the bottomless pit
this song of freedom. It's all I ever had. Redemption song. This song of freedom. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Remember ourselves and free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy. Cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall we keep our promise while we stand aside and look? Some say it's just a part of it can't be fulfilled. Won't you help me sing these songs of freedom? It's all I ever had. Redemption song. These songs of freedom. Redemption song. Oh, oh, oh. These songs of freedom.
A most beautiful rendition by our famous pianist Dale Gulston, and singing with him Adrian Gilbert. Most fitting for our brother Ifoma. I now turn you over to another set of tributes, this time from friends and colleagues in the legal fraternity, class of 1982. They're very proud of it. And we start with Marcia King, then Senator Hazel Thompson Nahi. So is Marcia with us?
Yes, I am. I'm here.
Okay, Marcia, thank you very much.
Ifoma and I met as law students at St. Augustine, UWI campus. He still was officially called Ewart Warner, but he always introduced himself as Ifoma. We shared our lives and our office spaces together for many years. He had absolutely no interest in appearing in court. And in his own words, he said he could not see himself dressed in a suit and tie, calling anyone my lord or my lady. Ifoma was a gentle, kind, caring, generous, non-judgmental, supportive soul, a devoted father and a caring husband, and a committed friend. He had a way of making everyone feel so important. We shared many a lunchtime, eating and sharing his food that he brought from home, and discussing every possible subject that is imaginable. His views were always different from every other dimension that other people spoke of. We agreed and we disagreed, but never with animosity. Ifoma possessed an unshakable calm and had a very philosophical outlook on life. He had a way of shaking his head at situations while doing his best to change or to ease or to help in the situation. He was very committed to those who he loved and those who were around him. He was humble and sometimes self-effacing. Whatever he did without fanfare. He loved to be in the background while orchestrating all sorts of things. Ifoma was humble and sometimes self-effacing. Whatever he did without fanfare. He loved to give fatigue, all done without malice and with a wit that caused laughter. As long as Ifoma could help someone in a situation, he would. He saw his involvement with the Emancipation Support Committee as a very necessary part of his existence, and his belief that only with proper education about their history and who they were and are can African people in the diaspora be lifted up. Ifoma was not a fake person. That is not to say that he was antisocial. Ifoma loved people. He would place himself in a strategic position and he missed nothing. I last saw Ifoma on the 23rd of April, 2021. We were both in office. It was a normal day. He left before me and he said, later. We spoke again by telephone on the 4th of May when we both discovered that COVID-19 had come into our office. We shared our different symptoms. I indicated to him that I had had a very strong fever for some days and he indicated that he was coughing. We discussed sanitizing the office and then I told him, take care of his cough, stay away from people. We will both be quarantined. The office is closed. Thereafter, we communicated by WhatsApp messages from the hospital. Ifoma, as my daughter said, there was never a time when she didn't know him in our lives. My life will not be the same now that he's gone. His peaceful nature, non-judgmental attitude blessed me and my family. He was a blessing to many. It goes without saying that I miss him. His laughter, his twinkling eyes, his calming attitude, and his sense of humor. We laughed every day about everything and nothing. May the ancestors welcome and embrace him. I love you, Ifoma.
Thank you very much, Marsha. Thank you very much. I turn you all immediately over to Senator Hazel Thompson-Ahi, our good friends. Yes, there you are, Senator.
His life was gentle, and the elements mixed so well in him that nature might stand up and say to all the world, this was a man. I begin by Wole Soyinka telephone conversation. The price seemed reasonable. Location, indifferent. The landlady swore she lived off premises. Nothing remained but self-confession. Madame, I warned, I hate a wasted journey. I am African. Silence. Silence, transmission of pressurized good breeding. Voice when it came, lipstick coated, long gold rolled cigarette holder pipped. Caught I was, foully. How dark? I had not misheard. Are you light or very dark? Button B, button A, stench of rancid breath of public hide and speak. Red booth, red pillar box, red double-tiered omnibus squelching tar. It was real. Shamed by ill-mannered silence, surrender pushed dumbfounded to beg simplification. Considerate she was, varying the emphasis. Are you dark or very light? Revelation came. You mean like plain or milk chocolate? Her accent was clinical, crushing in its light impersonality. Rapidly, wavelength adjusted, I chose West African sepia, and as afterthought, down in my passport. Silence for spectroscopic flight of fancy, till truthfulness clanged her accent hard on the mouthpiece. What's that? Conceding, don't know what that is. Like brunette. That's dark, isn't it? Not altogether. Facially, I am brunette. But madame, you should see the rest of me. Palm of my hand, soles of my feet are a peroxide blonde. Friction caused, foolishly, madam, by sitting down, has turned my bottom raven black. One moment, madam, sensing her receiver rearing on the thunderclap about my ears. Madame, I pleaded, wouldn't you rather see for yourself? Ifoma Soyinka. Quiet, handsome, they say, humble and meek. I would say, still waters run deep. Gently he moved, endearing to all on his way. A man of few words who knew just what to say. His eyes were beautiful, not at all cold, twinkling, winking slyly, saga boy of old. Housed deep within the heart of this generous brother was a soul, helpful, supportive, peace broker like no other. In our first year LLB, he was top of the class. But at the end, Debbie said, hey, you, not so fast. He wore his African name like a badge of honor, happy to discard his slave name, Ewart Warner. He celebrated everything that was African, clothes, food, culture, family, beautiful woman. His sorrows in life, he bore with good grace, always with a brave, cheerful, smiling face. His life said, don't let society's naysayers define you. The sky's the limit. Your goals, you go and pursue. He was a professional, lawyer and businessman both, worked assiduously to be someone of worth. Help your brother and sister. I have done my part. Forgive my not saying farewell, for COVID made me depart. Not confined by earthly body now, I am flying so high, watching over you till we meet again. Please don't cry. I lived a good life, enjoyed your friendship, fought the good fight. Pray for me, always love one another, and do what is right. From the class of 1982.
Thank you so very, very much, my good sister and Senator Hazel Thompson-Ahi. That was just wonderful. I thought that piece by Soyinka was, absolutely marvelous and in fitting with our own Ifoma's personality. And your tribute to him, we can all adopt. Thank you very much. We're going to have a tribute in song, just one more, before we move to hearing some of the tributes from some of his foreign guests, which I think you will enjoy hearing as much as you've heard the others. So we move to the song from The Mighty Sparrow. Memories.
somebody dear, give us cause to shed a tear and mourn, for they are gone. Now all that's left is a faint memory, based on the theme of a strange melody. Still, we must think of them and recall their image with pride, telling people from deep inside, this is dedicated to those who died. But in it, I'll always remember jumping when a big band passed, playing mass, sugary, peppery, he was never ever one for glass. But from Innis, wherever you are, compare just for you, are we gonna give them real thunder this year? Each and every one I know, some good day will have to go right back from where they came. But good or bad, we must try all the same, not to be too sad or heap scorn on their name. And every girl and boy who are sharing my sympathy, I must tell you this song is just dedicated to memories. George Bailey, I'll always remember jumping when a big band passed, playing big mass, sugary, peppery, he was never ever one for class. George Bailey, wherever you are, brother, just for you, and we gonna give them real thunder this year. How many have known a friend playing mass down to the end who will never again? And though we play now and then, thoughts will stray to that dear one who has since passed away. So for this carnival, while you're jumping up, take a break. Try and take in this song I made to remember for old time's sake. Rudolph Charles, I'll always remember jumping when the steel band passed, playing mass, sugary, peppery, he was never ever one for class. Yeah, Rudy, wherever you are, compare just for you, are we gonna give them real thunder this year?
We're going to give them real thunder. Oh, yes, on behalf of our brother. It is now we come to the tributes from some of our foreign guests who had been hosted by Brother Ifoma. And I think that's another side of him that is very interesting. And we are very pleased to have with us two of them who will speak this morning, Amadou Masali, Brother Masali, and Professor Wobogbo Ishango. So I will begin with Amadou, and then we'll have Brother Wobogo Ishangu. Brother Amadou, are you with us? Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Cambon. It's an honor for me to be speaking at this commemoration ceremony of our brother and friend, father, uncle, and so on. Rest in peace, brother Ifoma. I met Ifoma in 2016 for the first time when I attended my first ESCTT meeting. He hosted me on behalf of the organization, Emancipation Support Committee. I remember getting there late because my flight got in late. I was picked up at the airport and taken to Ifoma's house. And at 11 p.m. or so, after 11 p.m., here was this guy welcoming me into his house with a big smile. And that left a lasting impression on me from the very beginning, because I mean, the way he accommodated me for the first time without knowing me from anywhere was just impressive. I even had food late at night. I also remember the next year, we had gone to Carnival, my wife and I, not to the ESCTT event. And after Carnival, we were going to go to Tobago, spend a few days. So we spent the first night after Carnival, Ash Wednesday, with Ifoma. And then the next day, he took us to the airport, to the boat terminal to get on this boat to Tobago, which was his home, apparently. And I'm saying this because it was an inconvenience, in my opinion, for my wife and I to the seaport. But not only that, when we came back, he was there to pick us up. In fact, when we returned from Tobago, we had a nice dinner with Asha and Kafra and Ifoma and my wife. It was a very pleasant evening. Now, also at his home, as you've heard already, many other ESCTT visitors or guests were hosted there. I met two brothers there, one from Nigeria, Dr. Kule, he should be here with us, and I met a brother from Jamaica, Abu Akil. These were all ESCTT guests, but we all sort of met in Ifoma's house, and today we have strong, strong friendships based on our meeting at his house. I remember Ifoma as a deep thinker who hardly shows his emotions and will keep you guessing. So I was at this guy's house, and sometimes I'm noisy, I'm on the phone, I do things, I go out late. He even gave me his remote to his gate. Yeah, he has a remote to his gate because I would come in late after doing Arapita Avenue, whatever. And he was just so accommodating, a very kind and compassionate human being. He was also deeply interested in his Africanhood, so to speak. His name says it all, but also he took pride in his African garments. I sold some to him directly. I tried to give him some for free. He wouldn't accept it, but he would host me in his house and not take any money from me. So one day I tricked him. He bought a piece of garment from me, because I bring, every time I go to Trinidad, I try to take a few of them so that we get the real authentic stuff, not the other kind. So anyway, I sold it to him, he paid for it, but before I left, I hid the money somewhere in his house. And while I was at the airport, I called him to tell him that, I left something for him and told him where it was. And I don't know if he ever got it, but when I came back the next time, he wasn't there, so I assume he got it. I also know him as an honest and astute human being, let alone a businessman. As some of us already mentioned, as a lawyer, he did some work in real estate. And I was deeply interested in some of the things he was doing around real estate, especially in his native Tobago. So we've had those discussions, and I would definitely like to continue them with someone, maybe Miss Marsha Kill, but we'll get to that later. So I also knew Mary, who was his caretaker. So the last time I spoke to Ifoma was to sympathize with him over Mary's passing, Mary who used to help his son Nkechi. So I spoke to him, he was the same guy. I mean, I expressed concern more for Nkechi, who was so used to Mary. As I was there, I saw all of that. So we talked, and that was the last time I talked to him, maybe 2 years ago it was. The last time we talked, it was through text message on WhatsApp. Now, I will personally miss this guy. I've only known Ifoma for about 5 years, not 40 or 50 years like some of you guys. But I can tell you, he has left a lasting impression in my life as to how a human being should be. And I'm grateful for that. To my brother Ifoma Soyinka, we didn't expect you transitioning so soon. We have unfinished business. But I do hope and pray that when we meet on the other side, we will continue. May God bless you. And may, as we say in Sierra Leone, during funerals, may God give you good road. So in other words, let God prepare a good path for you in your next life. And I hope to see you again. Hopefully not soon, but sometime in the future. Thank you, Asha. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very, very much, Amadou. Thank you. I think I particularly thank you for that notion that if we want an example of how a human being should live and could engage with others, we can look at Ifoma's life. So we thank you for that very much. And I turn us over now to Professor Wobogo Ishango, who is also a guest at Brother Ifoma's house. Brother Wobogo, the floor is yours. You have to unmute.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes,
Okay.
we can hear you.
Number one, hello, everybody. I'm glad to see you again, etc. And I pondered over how I should do this. Should I write out something? Should I just talk? I can be long-winded, so I wrote out something. But I would like first to, my actual name is Vulindalela Wobogo. Ishango is the name of my email. But anyway, I like it. Maybe you've renamed me. But I would like to thank the Emancipation Support Committee for allowing me to comment in the celebration of the life of Ifoma Soyinka, the Nisu, the Pharaoh. Me, my wife Nozipo, and daughter Ama met Ifoma when my brother Kente Morris of TT and friends arranged for me to accept an invitation from the Emancipation Committee to speak at the 2019 Emancipation Celebration. And they paid for our expenses. I felt honored to speak in a land that has produced so many great Pan-Africanists like Henry Sylvester Williams, C.L.R. James, Kwame Ture, and George Weeks, whose last name Weeks was the name of a dear friend from Trinidad who asked me to play in their steel drum band while he was here in the Bay Area. I had always wanted to travel to Trinidad. Ifoma graciously allowed us to stay in his home for 2 weeks, where we were treated like dignitaries and members of the family. His gracious home manager and caretaker, Elizabeth Bramble, for his son, took care of all our needs. We did not have to pay for anything. His beautiful home was highly decorated, beautifully organized, and spotless, which was a reflection of his character. Ifoma's carriage was noble and dignified. He was at once brilliant and knowledgeable, down to earth and humble. His comments and conversation were only excelled by his inclination to be a good listener. I learned much from his experiences as an international attorney and in discussions about the issues facing Africans the world over and in TT. To show my appreciation, because of course, it was obvious that he would never have accepted any money from us, so I didn't even ask. But I took him and his social companion, Ayana, I believe her name is, out to dinner with Elizabeth, my wife and daughter. But typically, he insisted on paying the tip. It was a great dinner, a great meeting. I said to myself, wow, here I am in the land I've always admired, the land of that beautiful instrument, the steel drum, and I am talking to people that are like us, conscious, brilliant, and dedicated. After the Emancipation Celebration, Ifoma allowed the committee to meet with us, my family, for several hours long discussion of issues germane to Pan-Africanism. It reminded me of the times of my involvement in the 60s and 70s. It was a great discussion, very insightful. This meeting was a highlight of our stay. And out of it came plans for an African journal that covered the Western Hemisphere, the Caribbean, and the United States. And I was honored when Kafra suggested that me and Kente serve as the USA contacts for this journal. It was a fitting tribute to a wonderful meeting. We will remember this forever. So we were honored to stay at the home of the Pharaoh. Our meeting was too brief, but I had looked forward to meeting him again. And we were excited. I even talked to him about coming to the Bay Area, and he said he just might do that. Now, of course, he's made his passage. It's an extraordinary loss, but we may take heart in the fact that he's in a better place and he's with the ancestors. And I would like to thank you for allowing me to make this brief comment on the life of such an extraordinary man. But we can best honor his life by continuing our struggle for African liberation and for a better world. And thank everybody for allowing me to speak.
Thank you very, very much, Professor Obongo. And I certainly would not rename you. Thank you very much, Amadou, again. We know that there are many other brothers and sisters who are online, who have stayed, have shared in that wonderful hospitality that Brother Ifoma so generously gave, and would love to say more, but you know, we are running right out of time. So I'm going to move us quickly to a tribute in song, again from another young person. We're happy to be able to highlight the young people whose lives he has touched and who has touched his life, because that's to give you a sense of the way the brother has lived his life, always reaching out to young people. And here, Brother Muakil Muhammad is going to give us a tribute in song to Brother Ifoma.
Wosafa, Sabeli sees we siniyama. Wosafa, Isis we saba. Kamule mo, Keleze, Koluludaba. Wosafa, Sabeli sees we siniyama. Wosafa, Isis we saba. Kamule mo, Keleze.
I was brought on a ship, I turned the ship to a boat. Shoot these lines on my mind where they can't confine.
Don't worry, mama, I'll be fine.
But in time, we go break these chains to the shrine. Brain pretty fine, they don't really care, but we on the front line. Eat punchline, come lunch, from the sunshine. And I get what's mine. Well, let me ask them a riddle. Stands in the middle, hands on her hips, her lips confused. Try to join my mother, any other vibe. Yeah, we go take them on.
When the stars align, you better stand in line. At the end of time, when she called mankind to witness,
can I get a witness to the wickedness of the business? If the war calls for your life,
you give this, can you endure? Are you ready for the fitness? I call to witness.
Granny, Nanny, Marcus Garvey, everywhere back, every unborn baby is in
my dreams aside and they sell me. Now these sons of men come to tell me I can't be who I want to be. One thing stay true to me, yeah. If I could be anywhere, I would be where you are, Mama Africa. Oh, oh, oh. If I could be anywhere, I would be where you are, Mama Africa. Oh, Mama.
So my dream is to stand on the darkest soil where the night is bright, the dreams never small.
Stay bright in the eyes of the girls and the boys. No cause for despair, no smog in the air, no shadows to fear.
No swallows in the air will fall. Nobody building up brick walls and separate. We celebrate every day, no hate when we hear
bombs going off in the village. Protection plans for the witnesses. No pirates left for the village.
Sit back, relax, no more struggling.
Again, song again, song again, song again,
Any song again, any song again, yeah. Any song again, any song again, yeah.
if I could be anywhere, I would be where you are.
Any song again, any song again, yeah.
Any
song again,
any song again, yeah.
If I could be anywhere,
I would be where you are.
This song again,
oh mama, mama, mama,
this song again, any song again,
so hello, Mama Africa, how are you?
I'm feeling fine,
and I hope you're fine too. Hello, Mama Africa, how are you? I hope when you hear these words, your grace turn blue.
Dr. Asha, come on, please
Unmute,
unmute.
Asha.
Thank you. I am saying that I'm sure my brother Ifoma is saying, Mama Africa, wherever you are, I will be there with you. You know, it's wonderful. Thank you very much from the Freetown Collective, Brother Muakil Mohammed, and that wonderful group of young people who are producing such strong music and strong ideas. And we have to really thank the work of Brother Ifoma and all who have been with him over all these many, many years. It's 50 hard years of continuous work with keeping focused on one idea of empowering African people and ensuring that they can feel their humanity so that they can express it in whatever way they can. Some will play music, some, like Jerome, will become doctors and heal us, but whichever way they can, they will do it. And now we are on to our very last, penultimate, almost very last. This is a tribute in prayer from Baba Ogunbowale of Ile Ishukan, who is going to pay tribute in prayer to Brother Ifoma and help us ensure that his spirit is joining Mama Africa wherever she is and wherever he is. Baba, to you.
Present day to all, brothers and sisters. My name is Lester Osuna, fondly known as Ogunbowale, Chief Ogunbowale, Oloyeogoriola of Ife. And with me is my spiritual brother and biological cousin, Wayne Oshunbade Emosu Osuna, known to also as Lion, Master Drummer Lion. We are here today because of our connect with our brother, Ifoma Soyinka. And personally too, because of my connect with his family, his Soyinkas, his in-laws, the Phillips, from way back in the 1980s. where I met his children, his son, Jerome, who I'm happy to see today, and Ikeshi. We here to bring some joy, some relaxation to the hearts and minds and the spirits of our brothers and sisters by saying we're here to celebrate the life of Ifoma Soyinka. He did well, and his life is deserving of a great celebration. We start with a song which is from a threshold, by giving thanks for yesterday, today, and tomorrow. When we arrive at that threshold, when we must transit from Aye to Room, from earth to heaven, that we must still give thanks that we were in the marketplace and that we owe it not to D-E-A-T-H, the death, but we owe the D-E-B-T, the debt to our family in Orun, our peers in Orun, to return home. As we say, heaven is our home and the earth is our marketplace. Ifoma did well in the marketplace, and we must celebrate his life. We celebrated in song by singing a threshold song that if you know, you could join in and sing with us. Erudeyele, Erudeya Jubamalo, Erudeya Jubamalo, Ashe, it will be so. Shileku fuwa oluwa, Shileku fuwa u. Iwolo niwa, Mashedawa nu, Shileku fuwa oluwa. Open the door for us, O Lord. Open the door for us, O Lord. Never give up on us, O Lord. Open the door for us, O Lord. We give thanks in the life of Ifoma Soyinka, our brother, and we pray that Olodumare will open the door and the gates of Orun, the gates of heaven, so that our ancestors will welcome him back home in Orun. We pray that Olodumare will open the door for us, those who he has left behind, his children, Ikeshi and Jerome, and his other brothers and his siblings, and all his friends and relatives, that he has done well. And the doors will be open for us to continue celebrating his life in song, in words, in deeds, and in action. I pray that all that we represent today, we connect with the Ifa Orisha community, the African traditionalist, African faith-based religions, all that he did for us, all that he represented in our community, that we are giving thanks and celebrating that we were graced in having spent some of his life with him in Aye. It is his time to return to Orun. He left Orun and came to Aye and promised that he will be back. He has kept his debt to his family in heaven. His Egbe, his peers in heaven in Orun. He has kept his debt, his promise. As he will return in due course. We have been doing it from his passing, and on the 7th, there was an official sending off, a transition rites done on his behalf. And we pray that this memorial on his behalf by the Emancipation Committee, all his time spent in Njak and spent in the Emancipation Committee, we know that he's done all this, that he arrived well on earth and he traveled well. He fulfilled his destiny. He was prosperous. He arrived when prosperity was being shared, and without hesitation, he entered the home as if he was an offspring of the owner of the house. And he was prosperous. And he shared his prosperity. He was generous, he was kind, and he was serene, not only to his family, but to his friends, at home and abroad, and even visitors. It is a time when we, as his friends and his extended family, must raise our hands fully in his passing and ask and pray that Olodumare will allow him safe journey transition from Aye to Rome, that he will arrive safely in the arms of the ancestors. We pray and we pour libation. We say, Omi Tutu, Ile Tutu, Honor Tutu, Tutu Laroye, Ori Tutu. It is cool water that we pour on behalf of all of us and on behalf of Ifoma. And we said, give us a cool head, we asked Olodumare. Give us a whole cool pathway in our lives, but give Ifoma a cool pathway in traveling from Aye to Rome. Give us a cool head that we will be able to mourn gracefully, but that we will not grieve in his passing, that we will remember and celebrate his life. Yes, we would be sad. Yes, we will have to comfort each other, but our thoughts, our words, and our deeds, we will practice some of what was rubbed off in Ifoma, so that his life will be remembered. We pray that just as we say, Omi Tutu, that he would have traveled on the waters, on the rivers, on the seas, and his mind's eye, that fishing boat that I was so graced by being on it just in April, to bless it on its last expedition, that he would have witnessed it leaving or even returning to these shores. And he prayed, he's connect with us. Give thanks to the Orishas. Give thanks to the mothers of the air. Give thanks to the mothers of the sea, Oshun and Yemoja. And we prayed together in April. There's an old saying that says, that's life. We up in April and we may be down in May. And so it was our brother Ifoma. We pray that his transition would be safe. We pray that Olodumare, Obamu Bamu, Jiki Jiki, the owner of the universe, owner of all energies, Olodumare, will give him his blessings for safe travel. We pay homage to Aaron Moles, all these energies that Olodumare gave to human beings that Ifoma made use of to ensure that his comfort and other people's comfort was ensured on earth. We give praise for the Orishas. We say Iba to the Orishas, who he gave respect to and paid homage to. Even in our compound at Ilesha or Kind Federal Village, he would attend, and you might not see him in the earlies, but suddenly there would be these glowing eyes that would be saying to you, hello, I'm here. And in a jiffy, you might not see him again, but he was there. And we knew that he would be there. We pay homage to all our ancestors, collective and individual. Those who were here to meet us when we came to earth, and those who will be there to greet us when we go back home. Those who were here to meet Ifoma when he came, who left before him, will be there to greet him when he goes back home. We give praise and we pay homage to elders among us, male and female, our mothers especially, our women folk, that beautiful essence and energies, without whom that we would not be here today. We pay homage to the young ones, those who he has left behind, who would have to continue in his legacy, and those who are to come, and pray that if he is to return to us, that he will return in a joyful manner, to continue in his genius, to continue to serve humanity in the greatest way possible. We ask for blessings, and we say our father, our uncle, our brother, our lawyer, Ifoma Soyinka. We give thanks for all the time he spent with us. And at this point, he was so available to us in the Ifa Orisha, the African traditional community, that I'm reminded by our doctors, Paintu Spring, Ifaniwa, that he was part of the transition from being disorganized to the organization of the Council of Orisha Elders. So people of African traditional religion, faith, are enjoying the work of Ifoma even today. As we are seeing our representation in the IRO, we've seen our representation in Parliament. Through the works of Ifoma, we were allowed that. And he was part of the development of the Orisha Marriage Act, which a lot of us have allowed to be our practice in doing our marriage rights in Kairi, Trinidad and Tobago. His co-workers, they would have known him by different titles too. His workers on the boat would know him probably as captain. We give praise and thanks that his life will be celebrated forever. For all those of us who would live our life and our destiny, that we will always remember Ifoma Soyinka. The elements of Mother Earth we pour libation to. We say, from earth to earth, from dust to dust, he will return. His remains would have been cremated for different reasons, but we know the dust of his remains would have found a rightful place in an urn or in the ocean between Trinidad and Tobago, as he was both Trinidad and Tobago, or if it finds itself in a space where we would be able to even pay homage to it on a later stage. We know we have said, Ago Nile. Ago, ago, ago Nile. Kinilawa, ago Nile. Ago, ago, ago Nile. Kinilawa, ago Nile. Ago, ago, ago Nile. Ago, ago, ago Nile. We will not see him anymore physically, but we will see him in dreams, we'll see him in visions, we'll see him in thoughts, words, and deeds, and memories. There would be times that we will be saying, if only Ifoma was here. This is what he would have said. This is how he would have done it. This is what he would have advised us to do. Wherever you are, virtually, wherever you are over land and overseas, we pray that your prayers will be answered. Whether you're standing, kneeling, sitting, or driving, or even lying, we pray that all our petitions today will be accepted. We pray that ECO will take its course. We say death, but we say depth, D-E-B-T. And we say there's a transition rights that ECO, as we call it, the Orisha of Olodumare, whose duty is to transit up from Aye to Orum. ECO has visited the home of Ifoma Soyinka. We have given sacrifices, we have given offerings to the Orishas. ECO, when ECO enters our home, and it is our time to go, there is no sacrifice that we can make to ECO to say postpone. We would have gone to Oromila, witness of faith. Second to Olodumare, he who can postpone death in our times, and gone on our knees and ask for Ipin, our destiny to be fulfilled, but for great things to happen to us while we're here. And we have been allowed that. If Ifoma was allowed great things while he was here on earth, he would have fulfilled a destiny. If he is to return, even for a short while, for assisting other human beings, if he is to remain in our room for the assistance of human beings, his name will be called. And if it is called in earnest, and if it's called deservedly so, he will be there for us. That little voice that we will hear, this is what Ifoma would have said. This is how he would have done it. He would be judged by Olodumare, and his spirit will not be found among him. The gates of heaven will open for him. We are not saying goodbye, we are saying farewell. For peace and tranquility for his travels. ECO has done its job of transition His physical form has taken its transition, and his spiritual form, as some of us say, in 14 days after his burial, will merge with the ancestors. Some of us say in 9 days, which was partly before even his official burial. We do certain rituals that will ensure his passing. Some of us say in 40 days or in 40 nights. We will say prayers on his behalf that will ensure his full transition into a room where he will merge with our ancestors and will be available to us when we say, what would Ifoma have done? What would he have said to us? Oludumare will be with us this day, and solace will be with us, comfort will be with us from each other, that in the name of Oludumare, he will arrive at the right time at the gates of heaven and will be allowed entry. Already, Ariano, Eredi, Erearo, Biojubashi Wawora, Yasebasimeji, or Giri. It is not a pitiful thing. If I know what do. When eyes are two, they watch events unfold. The legs are two, they walk fast. The buttocks are two, they sit on a mat. One hand does not jingle. Neither will one leg walk very fast. How can one refuse to answer a call from responsible people? We are called differently. We are asked to kneel and greet those before us. We knelt and we greeted those before us. We asked to kneel and call on those behind us. We knelt and we called on those behind us. They asked who are those before one. We answered, our ancestors in our eternal household are those before us. They asked who are those behind one. We answered, the Orishas in one's household are those behind one. When Alapandele, the depends all of business. It does not touch the heaven, neither does it touch the sea. It remains suspended in the sky, looking up at Oludumare in heaven, looking down at human beings on earth. At Angegere divine Podushola, son of Aranashi, when he was still a child, and his father died without the knowledge of how to print Odu, when the knowledge of how to cast it. And when ritualistic elements were sent before him to appreciate, he cried, saying, I do not know if it is water to offer first. Heavenly spirits descend and make this ritual a success. He said, I do not know if it is tea to offer first. Heavenly spirit descend and make this ritual a success. I do not know if it is obi to offer first. Heavenly spirits descend and make this ritual a success. I pray that all our heavenly spirits in our room will descend and make this ritual a success, that Ifoma will be allowed a safe transition from a year to a room. We will round up by singing a couple songs to our ancestors who will usher him into Udu. Araru Kiki, Ajuba. Araru Kiki. Araru Kiki, Ajuba. Araru Kiki. Ajuba. Araru Kiki. Araru Kiki, Ajuba. Araru Kiki, Ajuba. Araru Kiki. Ajuba. Just as Ifoma enjoyed the breath of life.
Yes, brother.
Winds of change coming into Mother Earth. So we pray that Oya will usher you into the land of the ancestors, that the spirit will be welcomed back to the room. And we will have enjoyed his life and continue to join our life. We say congratulations to his children that they did not pass before him. It is not in our tradition that parents should send their children home, but our children will send. We give congratulations to Jerome and Keisha for having sent their father home. honorable way. He lived a good life, and we send him home honorably. We say, Adupe, we will meet again in our room.
Thank you, brother. Thank you very, very much. Adupe, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much, brothers. Thank you very much. That was a very heartfelt tribute and strengthening our call and our request to ensure that the spirit of Brother Ifoma continues its transition to his ancestors with all the strength and power that we can send him off with. I have on my telephone young Elizabeth, the caregiver of Ikechi. Ikechi, if you don't remember, the meaning of his name is God's creation. I remember because I was his, I performed the naming ceremony for Ikechi. So I remember well his birth and his naming. And Elizabeth, who has been his caregiver, is here and unfortunately was having difficulty with her technical position. And so I'd like to give her a chance to say a few words before we bring this afternoon session to a close. So I'm going to put my phone near the speaker and hope that you are able to hear her. Elizabeth, can you speak?
Yes, please.
Can everyone? God, no one has heard me because I've been muted.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, can you hear me now? Can people hear?
We can, Miss Asha. We heard you.
Yes, we can.
Elizabeth.
And you heard me before. Okay, I have Elizabeth online, who is the caregiver of Ikechi. And so she has been having technical difficulties and she's going to speak through my phone. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Okay, good day to everyone. My name is Elizabeth, as previously told. I am Ikechi's caregiver. I would like to say I met Mr. Soyinka, as I will normally call him, in 2015 when my elder sister, Mary, which I'm quite sure that many persons will know, his housekeeper at the time. Mary would have served the Soyinka's family for about maybe close to 14 years. And while visiting with her, I became acquainted with Mr. Soyinka and his son Ikechi. After Mary passed, I was offered the housekeeping position, mainly because Ikechi had become very familiar with me. For the 2 years and 3 months that I worked with Mr. Soyinka, he was very, very kind to me. He was very easy to understand. Although his standards were very, very high, he never dictated how I should do my work. In short, Mr. Soyinka was a very good boss. He enjoyed his meal with some Tobago flavor. Being of Vincentian and was not familiar with all the dishes and so on that he liked, he obviously bought me a cookbook to help me along. Two of his favorites were pigeon pea soup and sweet potato porn. Ikechi meant the world to Mr. Soyinka. On weekends, they would sit together and eat doubles with hot pepper. Mr. Soyinka took ill. He did not appear to be alarmed, and he did not make any fuss, as I know him. He really doesn't fuss about anything much. Even though he suspected, then knew he was being attacked by this COVID-19, he kept his composure. While he was in the hospital, he remained in contact with home, and it seems that he would soon return. Then for almost a week, we did not hear from him. Eventually, on May 18th, at about 1:34 p.m., he WhatsApped me this message. he said, Liz, things don't look good. Take good care of EKG and tell him that he loves him. That was the last message. Well, not exactly the last message, but the last day I got a chance to speak with him via message. So I say at this time, may he continue to sleep until. This is my contribution towards Mr. Soyinka.
Thank you very, very much, Elizabeth. And we're grateful to have heard those words from you, even though we've had to do it sort of roundabout. I hope everyone was privileged to be able to hear Elizabeth's words about our brother and his love for his son, Ikechi. I'm just going to turn you over now to our sister, Zakia Uzoma-Wadada, who will give us our closing remarks. And thank you all profusely and from the deepest parts of my heart as well. And from my children's hearts, everyone has been sending me messages. I turn you over to Sister Zakia. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I am especially moved by the words from Elizabeth, particularly when she said that he recognized and accepted, and I'm sure in his cool, graceful, practical way, that, you know, perhaps he would not have made it out of the hospital and was able to send his kind and loving words to his dear son. I want, on behalf of the Emancipation Support Committee of Trinidad and Tobago, to thank all of you who have joined us here on the Zoom platform, and those of you who have joined us via Facebook. Thank you so much for taking the time at this time and date to share this very special moment with us. It has helped us to begin to come to terms and accept the reality that our brother is no longer with us in the flesh. We thank all of those family members, his colleagues who were also dear friends, for taking the time and having the strength through your grief, but also through the joyful memories that we have of him to share and to help us get to know Ifoma even better. Ifoma sat next to me when we had our board of directors meeting. And I was pondering the other day that nobody is going to take that seat because he has to continue to attend in spirit and sit right there because, we always, in the boardroom, everybody has a seat. And, I was privileged to be one to have him sit to my right hand and my right hand side. It is really because at our last board of directors meeting in the month of April, Ifoma was there. We had a special meeting following that. Ifoma was there. And the last thing on any of our minds was that he would not have joined us for the next month's meeting. So it is really a joy for us to be able to share this time with you. To remember in particular, I'm so happy for those of you who spoke about his sense of humor, because it's one of the things and the memories I cherish very deeply. And not only did he have a good sense of humor, but as Trevor said, he would laugh himself into hysteria. And the point about it, half of the time, I would be laughing, not because I got a joke, because sometimes it takes a little time to catch Ifoma's jokes, but because he was laughing so hysterically. You had no choice but to join him in that laughter and reach almost the same pitch of hysteria as he laughed. And that's what I would remember him for, that infectious laughter, his ability in the midst of a very serious conversation to just say something that would ease the stress and have you cracking up. I thank I give thanks to all of us, myself, the rest of the board of directors, the staff of the Emancipation Support Committee, for us having the pleasure of knowing him. We will miss him terribly. I give thanks to the performances of all the artists, even though we had you by recordings or live. Thank you so much, because I know that these performances that we had here today would enrich his spirit and make him feel happy, even as he journeys, on his journey on to Orun. I want to thank all of you sincerely for sharing this time with us and assisting us in accepting the transition of our dear brother, sharing his tremendous love, filling this space with this beautiful energy. We thank you. We thank you, we thank you. And to our dear brother Ifoma, we know that for us you have gone too soon, but it gives our heart some comfort knowing that you accepted and that you were ready to travel on. So we send you off in joy, and we ask that you continue with your peace, but remember, we still have work for you to do here. So we will be calling your name, Ifoma, Ifoma, Ifoma. Much love from all of us. Ashe.
Ashe, Ashe, may it happen, may it happen. Ashe. Thank you very much, Sister Zakia. And we say goodbye to all, and we thank our team who we can't see in the background, who've been making today possible. Our sisters Renee, Khadijah, who was up all to the wee hours last night, Rain, all of them, Sister Nzinga, sending off messages to all of you right, left, and center. We thank every single person involved. We thank you all. Bye-bye. Kwaheri, they would say in Tanzania. Zikomo, as they would say in Malawi. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye,
Rest
goodbye.
my brother.
Goodbye.
After Kafra, everybody, accept my condolences. This is Karen. It was very nice.
Have courage, Jerome.
Yes. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, bye, everyone. Thank you for coming.
Bye.
Zakia, thanks for everything.
Hi, Karen.
Thanks for everything, girl.
Thank you, darling. Thank you, Karen. Let's think
Hi,
of him with
Hazel
this
and
wonderful
Helen
laughter. Yes, thank you.
all in diaspora.
Yes, Liz. Hey, hi, Liz. We know, sweetie. Take care. Thank you so much for helping and all that you did in helping to make this happen. Thank you, N2. Thanks, Felix. Brother Elekino, thank you so much. Cheryl, thank you. Pleased to meet you. Thanks, Marsha. Long time no see. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Who again? Trevor, we did hear you loud and clear. Thank you so much for reminding us about his laughter. Oh, dear me. I know that was so beautiful. Thank you, Grace. Thank you, Grace, for being here. Yeah, Vanessa, thank you so much, Vanessa. Thank you, Neville.
Good job,
Ayana. Thank you, Ayana. Stay